Well, welcome in everybody to another interview here on Granbury TV today, March the 2nd, 2012. See, I almost said 22nd. I'm wanting to speed it along, speed the month along. But it is March the 2nd. It's beautiful outside, and I am with the superintendent of the Granbury School System, Mr. Ron Mayfield. And Mr. Mayfield, we were just visiting, and it is a busy time of the year.
Oh, it's extremely busy. You know, spring of the year always has not only the athletic activities, but academic contests and a lot of extracurricular, choir, band, ag trips, you know, just you name it, we've got it going on.
Well, I tell you what, we do. I mean, there is just a whole lot to get at. Of course, on top of that, state testing starts March 7th. Is that right?
Absolutely. Next week.
And tell us exactly what's going to go on. Of course, that's the tax testing and so forth. And tell us what all's involved there.
Well, you know, if you've been watching the news, you heard a lot of talk about testing. The Commissioner of Education made some derogatory remarks concerning the 15% rule and the STAR test, and he called the testing in Texas become a perversion against its original purpose. And what really stirred things up was the 15%, is making the end-of-course test count 15% of the final grade. Well, what that ends up doing is counting against our students' GPA. And of course, you know, it's going to be so difficult making those calculations and how that 15% is going to be counted in what that numerical grade would be. The interesting part of that is that how different districts would utilize and what numbers they would use. And so what it amounts to, if you've got students that are, and all students are interested in their GPA because it affects whether or not what college you can go to.
Right.
And we're not talking about just valedictorian, salutatorian. We're talking about a top 10%. And in Granbury, you know, we're talking 35, 40 kids. So, you know, GPA is extremely important. And we've got a lot of folks in Granbury that start monitoring, preparing to work that GPA back in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, you know. So, if you have a son or a daughter in Granbury and then something happens, there's a job change and you move, say, to another district, and your children were in the top 10% in Granbury, and if they move over there and if they calculate that 15% different, then your own children might not be in that top 10%. So that's a huge issue. So what they've done now is they've come back and realized they probably don't need to have the end of course accounting as part of as 15% of the grade, so it affects GPA. So as a result, what we have, they still have to pass the test. That didn't go away. So accountability is still there.
Right.
It's just not going to be counted as part of that grade. And what it amounts to, you got some people that really focus on GPA. You got them stirred up, and it didn't take the legislature long to figure out we probably shouldn't have messed with that.
Right.
So that's going away, but our testing starts next week. We've got testing on and off between now and the end of April, and some even the first week or so of May. And so, you know, a long period that we're going to have testing at different campuses. And so the message is here, monitor your children's testing schedules. Getting a good night's sleep is so important. Try to get the TV in the house off or the noise down where your children get a good night's rest. And maybe you, on occasion, maybe you swing by the donut shop and get your kids try to eggs and bacon and, you know, those things maybe instead of the sugared up. And you don't want your child to be hyper on test day and those kinds of things. So try to get good night's sleep and have the kids eat good and be ready to test.
That's very important, and it's important to know your children's testing. So if you have a child that's in that testing range that's going to be tested. You know what those dates are. You can contact your campus. They'll be more than happy to let you know. And of course, I'm sure that the schools are sending out information to the home,
Sure.
saying, hey, these are the testing dates and these what we suggest that you do. So those are very, very helpful.
Correct.
And insightful things there. Of course, open house.
Open house, great. Coming up Tuesday, March the 6th. That's next week. And we got all of our elementaries are having open house. Great time to swing by an elementary campus between 5:30 and 7 at all of the campuses except Emma, and they start at 5 and go to 6:30. So essentially 5:30 to 7. A great time. Even if you don't have children in school, it's kind of a neat time to walk up and down the halls and see the kids and see the teachers and see some of the work that the kids have been doing. Great time.
I love open house.
Yeah.
Because I'll go out there. I don't have any in the elementary schools here, and but I like to go because the teachers are good bakers. They
Oh,
make
yeah.
little cookies and
That would be
little
correct.
snacks and whatnot.
Yeah,
I kind
a
of
good
enjoy it.
time to display what we're doing. And while you're there, take a look at the facilities. You know, we, Alicia Hernandez in charge of custodians, they do a super job keeping our facilities clean and neat at all times and whatnot.
Absolutely, and you know, as a taxpayer in the city, you should be interested in you know what's going on in the school system and how we are taking care of those facilities. And
Right.
boy, here in Granbury, they do a fantastic job
Right,
of
they
that.
do on the inside, and the maintenance guys do a great job taking care of the lawn care on the outside, and you know, there's just not hardly a time. Now, maybe after it rains a lot and the grass gets ahead of us sometime, it might be a little shaggy, but for the most part, all our grounds outside and inside, everything looks really good. I'm really pleased with that. We got some, Mr. Leach does a super job with our maintenance guys, and Ms. Hernandez does a great job with
They do. Kudos to those folks for sure. Of course, UIL contest events. I'm reading this in the academic level, and boy, we have some winners.
Oh, we really do. You know, we've got, if you look there's probably 15 to 20 different contests that we enter. I listed all those so you can just see. It's hard to believe you have contests in that many different areas. And of course, you got to look at our speech and debates always there. Our theater with one act plays always there. But of course, our headliners, the accounting team that's won state the last 2 years, and you know, they assure me that we're going to three-peat, that we're going to
wow.
win state and accounting for that third year in a row. I think that's an exciting time, and of course, pressure's on those kids. Can you imagine the pressure those kids are in?
A lot of pressure and pressure on the coach, because I heard that if we don't three-peat, we'll get rid of him and hire Barry Switzer next year.
I don't know about Switcher and accounting now.
It worked for the Cowboys.
Well, maybe so. We'll not work that one. All right, but
Of course, a lot of good things going on. The one-act play, you mentioned our theater arts. Theater arts here in Hood County, just fantastic.
huge. You know, our middle schools have had the one-act plays going. They did a play second and third up at Weatherford the other day. Our high school one-act plays always there. They put a play on. You know, they put just this last month they put the musical on. Super job. I mean, I heard rave reviews from people that don't even have kids that went, and they just did a super job. And you know, they Phil Groeschel's got the kids, the acting, of course, combine that with our choir and our band students, and our fine arts talent is fantastic here. And of course, that, you know, there's obviously an interest, because just like the Opera House here, that, you know, people, they had a money-raising event, boom, nothing flat. So fine arts is a focus in Granbury.
Well, I'll tell you what, it should be. And, you know, with both the theaters closed right now, if you want to get your kicks, so to speak, with a live performance, see what's going on at the high school and the junior high level, because they do those performances there at the campuses, and boy, they do just a first-rate job.
Most of them's going to be, you know, we've got a lot of concerts. We've got our pre-UIL concerts coming up here. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of days. March 29th, April the 3rd, those are going to be some dates you really want to watch. So there's going to be some good performance. And I was talking to Mark Easton just the other day, or actually the day before yesterday, and he was telling me some of those songs that the band's going to play, they're like 14, 15 minutes long, one song.
Wow.
And just playing at an ultimate level, and it's almost like opera music and those kind of things. And our kids are playing at a great level. Anticipate the band will be getting a sweepstakes again this year. With we got the one in marching last fall. There's 2 years in a row for the marching. Anticipate getting the one in concert, and anticipate getting one in sight reading. So we have sweepstakes a couple of years in a row. So it doesn't get any better than that.
It does not. And I'm reading here, the Granbury High School in Crossland Class 1 solo, superior rating, advancing to state, 35 vocalists.
Yeah, that's 35 soloists, and that's, if you go down and you look on the next page, Todd, and it's almost the way I typed it up, it looks a little different, but the ensembles and madrigals, superior rating, advancing the state, there's 7 of those and 45 students involved in that. So, you know, that's 80 kids involved right there. Well, then you have some others there that had some excellent ratings and some superior ratings, and you know, they're not necessarily advancing the state, but it still did an outstanding job. So you're looking at almost 100 students just in the choir alone. And then when you get to our band, we've got quite a few band kids that are going to be, I don't think I have an exact number on those right now, the band kids that'll be advancing to state. And of course, state sees right at the end of school right there around Memorial Day. And you know, we've just got a tremendous number of kids that are going to that event.
That's just fantastic. You know, fine arts, it seems like too that the children or the kids, the students that are advancing at the high levels, they're also advancing in their studies too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's that left brain, right brain thing.
Well, it has a lot to do with that, but you know, even so, whether it's right brain or left brain, our observation's been that if you, it almost goes back to regardless of whether it's fine arts or whether it's athletics or an ag event or LCCLA or like our health occupation student, that's dedication and commitment and hard work.
Absolutely.
And so whether you're right brain or left brain, if you come in with the dedication, the commitment, and hard work, and willing to put the effort into doing things, then you're going to be successful. And it's also expectations from home. So if mom and dad at home have high expectations for their children and have their children participating in events and pushing, then you're going to see success. And you know, years ago there was a project came out, and they were having several kids failing in a small school, and the board talked about maybe not allowing the kids to participate so much in extracurricular events. Right. And so the superintendent liked and knew that the kids doing the best are participating in most events, and it was a small school, so he's able to get all the high school kids and particularly the seniors make a list of all of the things they were in, and so when it was all said and done, the kids that had the highest grades were participating in the most extracurricular events, and it got down to the kids that were failing, they weren't participating in anything. So instead of the board cutting back on the extracurricular activities, they required each kid to be in at least 2 extracurricular activities to try to get the grades up. And so it's called buying into the whole school atmosphere and doing something. You know, I say it all the time. I know I probably alienate some of my core teachers, but you know, English, math, science, and social studies are probably not the courses that are going to keep kids involved in school. I mean, now we got to have good quality English, math, science, social studies are our core areas, but you know, it's the band, it's the choir, it's the theater, it's the ag, it's the, you know, the all of the different extracurricular activities, the baseball, the football, the softball, the soccer, the swimming, you know, all of those things is what kids really get interested in. And if you will observe, most time that's where your booster clubs are.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen our math booster club yet, or our English booster club, or our, you know, science booster club, or, you know, or our social studies booster club. What you have is the booster clubs in the extracurricular events, and that's what folks and kids are interested in.
Well, I'll tell you what, a booster club that I know that you have heard of is this Auto Tech Club.
That would be correct.
And they have a good support system there, and they're going to have a very special event. And I know you're excited about it. Last year, I believe they had something similar to this, and this year it's even bigger.
It's bigger. It'll be at the high school, and you know, that thing is this will be on March 31st. It'll be at 10 to 3 o'clock, and there'll be all kinds of cars up on that parking lot. So it's just a tremendous show. It's going to be a great event.
I'm going to try to get us out there.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
That's going to be an event, just a very special event. Spelling Bee and the Science Fair. I want to touch on those two because those are very special. You know, Spelling Bee, I never advanced.
No.
Never advanced.
I'm shocked.
I was stage fright.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Mayfield, I get stage fright and shy when I'm up in, you know, front of people.
Yeah, well, you know.
You believe that?
It's, you know, I've seen a lot of kids could spell a lot of words sitting at a table like you and I are at, and then all of a sudden they're on stage fright and it's like, can't remember anything.
Well, I want to throw a special shout out, it's Christian
McLean.
McLean.
Christian McLean.
He won the contest in Granbury on February the 16th.
Correct.
The regional contest, March the 7th at TCU. There's going to be 33 contestants in there.
And the winner goes to Washington, D.C.
And then you go to Washington, D.C.
That is correct.
And boy, I tell you what, Mr. McLean, he may be on his way.
There you go. We got to pat it. You know, I did say something about a booster club, and I need to back up a minute. I talk about we don't have the booster clubs for math, English, science, social studies, those things, but we do have now going in Granbury, Granbury Education Foundation.
Oh, yes.
And so this is the focus on our academics, and we've got a group of about 20 directors, and we're going to have a fundraising event shortly, and we're going to have inviting some folks, and the goal is to raise $100,000 for our academic core areas. So I think now, and we started working on this a year ago right about now, worked really hard and got it going, and it is going, it's up and live, and we're going to be having an event, we'll have 3 or 4 events. We've got some dates set, a couple of them coming up in March and then one down in May, and actually May the 16th we're going to be awarding grants up to $3,000 to individual teachers out at our different campuses.
That's great.
So our goal is to raise $100,000, and this is a focus on English, math, science, and social studies. So we do now have the Granbury Education Foundation that essentially is, and it's really more than a booster club, but it is a booster club for academics.
Absolutely. You spoke about that last time you were here, and just get us those dates on those events. We'll pass that on to the public, make sure that we try to get some people there.
Right.
The science fair, I have to do this because I see a name that happens to be one of our very own.
All right.
Yes, 3 students advanced to state. Granbury High School junior Mariah Rendiro, and that is Melissa's younger sister.
Great.
And she advances to state. Also, 8th grader Tommy Wallace and Acton Middle School 7th grader Leslie Crone. So congratulations to those 3. Man, science fair. Some of the projects that they come out with are they're just mind-blowing. Very
complex.
Yes.
I mean, this is not your, mix this and that and come up with something. That very complex. And I don't know if you remember, it's made the news earlier this week out of the Metroplex area, and it showed the Coliseum and it showed the different science projects and talked about the scholarships that are at stake. And so we have scholarships here in Granbury and there, and then those that go to state. And so there's some tremendous scholarships, but there are some really unique science projects. And I took a lot of science. I took 12 hours of chemistry and 8 hours of biology and all kind of things when I went to college. But I can tell you, I can go to these science fairs and they're talking about stuff that I don't even have a clue what they're talking about. And these are our kids, and so there's a tremendous amount of learning taking place, particularly when these kids pursue science projects on the and in the science fair and the history fair, those things are kind of like extracurricular. It's things that a kid can really sink their teeth in and get involved. It's kind of like gifted and talented, and there's some kids out there, they may not be a great basketball player, volleyball player, football player, but they're sharp and they're intelligent, and they can get into either gifted and talented or science fairs or history fairs. In other words, Granbury ISD has a place for almost every child to become interested in something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's talk about it. You've mentioned it. Let's talk a little bit about the athletics and the athletic programs that we have. And I'll tell you, it has been extremely busy, and I'm so proud of my girls.
Oh, yeah.
As they advanced to the regional semifinals and did just a bang-up job. They defeated Waco High School in the bi-district. They advanced past Western Hills, which will be a district opponent of ours next year.
Correct.
In the area round, and then got to beat Stephenville for the 3rd time.
3rd time in a row. It just doesn't get better than that.
Mr. Mayfield, I could not be any more prouder than a team that has beat one of my arch nemesis, the Stephenville team. Any Stephenville team, I just want them to lose.
That would be correct.
And the girls did a fantastic job over there in Glen Rose, defeating them in the regional quarterfinals. They did just come up a little bit short over in the semifinals, But what a fantastic year for that
Oh,
young squad.
Great year, and you know, I think you mentioned a while ago we lose one starting senior there,
Yes.
so we got some young girls, and you know, if you read you know, the Fort Worth paper when it talked about Summit that ultimately went 4 overtimes with Canyon, who was the state champions last year, so there's a good chance that you're looking at Summit being state champion, and they were in our district, and so, but if you read what the coach from Summit talked about. Her girls lost to Canyon last year, and they tasted that, and they worked all year long, and then it took them 4 overtimes to defeat Canyon, but they were successful, and she was just so excited to be. So what you hope, our girls got to the regional tournament. Hopefully they got a taste of that. Hopefully they got to watch Summit and Canyon play in that game, and to think that needs to be us next year.
Absolutely.
And then take it all the way down the state, because when you get to that level, and sometimes I compare it to an engine. You got to be hitting on all cylinders.
Right.
You got a little knock going. So you hope those girls come back with that enthusiasm, that work ethic, and you get it where you're passing that ball around, get it where you handle that ball, where you can put it in the goal. And because when you get to that level, and you stop and think, just stop and think, there's 4 regions in the state. There were 16 teams left this year, and Granbury was one of those.
That's right.
And you know, and then just one game, and then there's 8 teams left. So we're at the top already, and what we just need, take that next step, and then when you get in that game, whether it's at that regional tournament or state tournament, it's just, if everything clicks, you're state champion.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't bet against them being state champions.
Absolutely,
next year.
absolutely.
And you know, as a matter of fact, you're going to have some free time next year. Maybe you can help them shoot some free throws and, show them the finer part.
Actually, I think they really want to win, so it'd probably be better if I stay away, I think.
Well, you did a fantastic job helping out Project Graduation and at the half times, and we really appreciate it.
You know, that little event raised $350.
$350.
Can
Sure
you
did.
imagine?
You got on a hot streak.
You imagine people would throw in that kind of money was 2 old people like us.
Can you believe that you tied legendary coach Lita
Oh, well,
Andrews?
you know, they say a blind hog can find an acorn every once in a while, so you just get lucky every once in a while. So anyway.
Now, the boys were undefeated in basketball and football last fall, and
That's freshman.
the freshman team.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that bodes well, especially moving into the new district, and, you know, it's just going to be a freshness for the boys programs in the football and the basketball, because they're in that transition period where a lot of seniors graduating this year. They've got the new blood coming in, and in the new district. It's going to be a very special year next year for the boys.
Yeah, I think you ought to hold the new superintendent accountable that if the football team and the basketball team doesn't win districts, it's the superintendent's fault.
There you go.
There you go. Next year, not this year.
Write that, yes, I'll write that down. They did fine this year. Yeah. And of course, swimming. You know, when you think of Olympic gold medalist Dana Vollmer coming from here, and of course Nick still coaching the team and everything, you know that we're always going to do something special.
Oh, yeah.
And at the regional meet, the girls' 200-yard medley relay team placed 3rd.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Job.
Fantastic for them.
And I got to point out one more thing. The commitment, dedication, those kids get up really early. We don't have a swimming pool here in the wintertime, and they travel to Fort Worth early, get back, and then they go to class.
And then they get in that pool over here at the city park when it's cold. It's freezing.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. I start shaking.
I was in a hot tub here recently, and I enjoyed that quite immensely.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to extend on that. You know,
if it's warm water, I'm happy.
I got that.
Now the soccer teams are doing phenomenal. The boys
got an article in the Fort Worth paper today.
And it's about time.
Today, it's identifying and talking about Coach Kissinger, who played on the last team that went to one state in '99, and he compares this year's team to their team then.
Yes.
And so, you know, that excites me. You know, superintendents generally they get these rings for a team that wins state, you know, and like a football wins state championship, the superintendent gets a ring, you know, those kind of things. And, you know, this is my last hurrah.
Yeah.
And so we didn't get it in girls basketball, and we've got girls soccer, we've got boys soccer, we've got softball, we've got baseball left.
Shot.
And so, you know, with Coach Kissinger talking about being undefeated at this point, that may be my best shot. So
absolutely,
I may have to go lend some assistance with them.
Not only that, but the boys have, at this time, last I checked, 9 shutouts
Yes.
already, and undefeated, totally undefeated, and in first place in district. The girls, they lost one game, and they're still in first place.
That's still in first place, and not going to lose another in
No,
district.
I don't think so. I think they're going to keep rolling.
That would be correct.
Of course, the golf teams are doing great. Travis Benson, he's tied for first place at the
Yeah.
Split Rail Links Golf Club near Aledo, and the freshmen first in the Centennial Tournament.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, now are you coming over Monday over to Cleburne to watch my Granbury Pirates beat all over them Yellow Jackets from Cleburne?
I guess I probably should.
Yes, you should, because it's going to be a very special one. They're going to be playing Cleburne first district game of the season Monday, March the 5th. Everybody needs to turn out. Games. First pitch is at 7 o'clock.
Uh-oh.
When you get,
I've got a board meeting at 5 o'clock.
Well, they won't miss you.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll share it with the board. I won't be able to make this board meeting. That'll be fine. It'll be great.
I can make you a note.
I may need that. Yes.
Now, they are in. They did do great in the tournament here, the Classic tournament here
Right.
this past weekend. Right now, they're in the tournament in the Southwest in Fort Worth and doing phenomenally well there. Again, it's kind of a transition year, but all the talent that's coming up, the freshmen and sophomores that are coming up this year are just phenomenal. Right. And the Pirates are very, very deep in the pitching, and they should do phenomenally well. Of course, we'll have all those games right here on Granbury TV. And the softball, they're getting ready. As a matter of fact, they're in a tournament right now. And
Right.
It's the Granbury tournament. It's going on right now.
Right, that's correct. Baseball last week, softball this week.
And that softball team's doing extremely well. And
And
looks
they're
very, very
just
good.
got one returner and starter from
Yeah.
last year, so it's a
Bailey
whole new
Spitzer,
group of
yes.
girls. So, yeah.
And that's good. You know, when it makes you feel good that when you're having success and you basically got a whole new team.
Whole new team, so
It
must be coaching.
It's that next man up
There you
type
go.
thing.
Yeah, you got to go. Well, it speaks well for our teams, underlings, our JV teams, freshman teams, those signs that keep things going.
And, of course, this is a name that I'm very familiar with during the football season. He was the offensive lineman for the team and was just a great kid. I got to meet with him and speak with him. He's just a good kid. Joseph Pilgrim.
Yeah.
A 270-pound weight class. He qualified for regionals in powerlifting.
Right.
And that is, boy, have you seen what they do in that powerlifting?
I have watched a lot of powerlifting meets. As a matter of fact, I did miss out on ring. Our girls in Reagan County one year did win state in powerlifting.
Oh,
So
wow.
I've watched a lot of powerlifting meets, and it's
Did you
just
get a ring?
amazing. You know, that's a long story. I didn't, and but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Oh, my
but I'm
goodness.
still shooting for it. You know.
Well, it's going to happen. Stowaways. You know, you can't have an athletic program without great support from not only the band, but from the cheerleaders, the
is
cheer
correct.
squads, and the stowaways, all of those. I'm going to tell you, when we went to the tournament over in regionals, our cheer section was so loud, and they
Good.
were led in step and in tune
There you
by
go.
the cheerleading squad that was
Great.
there, and they were all in attendance.
That's great.
And
Yeah,
just
yeah.
screaming their little hearts out.
And our stowaways have been to a couple of competitions
Absolutely.
themselves and just knocked the top out of it. There's a long, long list of awards that stowaways have won.
Absolutely. They went to the Tyler Junior College. They also the Dance Line Classic State Championship in Weatherford, sweepstakes. I mean, they've just
Judges
done it all.
award, everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Numerous individual medals, way too numerous to mention. But I tell you what, those stowaways. If you have not seen them, you need to get out there and see them before the school
yeah.
year's done
That-
with,
that's
because
correct.
they do a phenomenal job.
Right, absolutely.
And of course, rounding it off, San Antonio Stock Show, an Oak Woods student, grand champion.
Grand champion. It's that as good as it gets. Being an old ag teacher, I can talk all day about our stock shows and the winning
Yes.
grand champion. You know, I started showing in the 3rd grade, didn't win a grand champion until my junior year in high school. So I know the work and dedication it takes, and so congratulations to this young lady. So
I want to linger here for a second because this young lady is a 4th grader.
right.
A 4th grader. And I'm looking at her steer. Look at that.
Yeah, Charlotte. And you haven't seen a Charlotte win a major stock show in a while. They're usually the European crosses are the champions most of the time.
Now, the following day, the steers sold at auction for $112,000.
Yeah. And you know, we talk about that. As much as it costs to do some of these programs, hopefully she broke even, you know.
Oh.
I think hopefully she did a little better, but you know, it is expensive. There a lot of these steers nowadays, you know, they'll cost $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000. Some of them more than that.
That was a record-breaking amount sold.
for San Antonio.
And the previous record was set back in 2005.
Right.
And, you know, that's, especially with today's economic standing around, for a steer to sell for that much.
Right.
I mean, she did a fantastic job with this animal. And kudos to her. Now, how much of that does she get to keep?
You know, I'm not sure on that, and I had intended to do some research on that. Now, at one point in time, several years ago when I was teaching ag, they kept it all, but I think they made some changes on that, and I'm not sure that the students actually get to take all of that. I'm not real sure. I'll have to do some research on that.
See, Mr. Mayfield, if I was a 5th grade boy right about now, I'd write her name down, and she would be my girlfriend in high school.
That'd be a good plan. I got a feeling her dad might keep you from getting to any of it. Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure about that. Well, I'll tell you what, it's just been an exciting time all year this year, and you have just done a fantastic job. We appreciate you coming in here and updating us. Of course, you'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
And we most definitely appreciate it. Anything else that you want to put out there for this edition?
I just say that, you know, I want to commend the faculty and staff of Granbury ISD, commend the students for the work that they do, the parents for the support that they provide. We talk about the booster clubs. You know, it's just great being in Granbury ISD, and as you know, you've talked about my retiring, going away, and you know, I've had one individual that is going to be interviewing has contacted me, and when people ask me about Granbury ISD, it's just the greatest place in the world to live and to work and to be in a community that supports its kids the way we do in Granbury. So,
well,
great place to be.
I'll tell you what, and whoever comes in, they're going to have big shoes to fill.
Well, I don't know about that. I tell folks that by July the 4th this year, y'all, now the last superintendent, I can't remember his name, but you know, what was his name? Man,
well,
that'll be it. So.
I'll bet you I'll remember Mr. Mayfield, and I'll bet you that there's some folks out there that do too. Well, that's going to wrap up this interview. We will be back sometime soon with more. You enjoying Granbury TV.